It's time for another installment of The Musings of My Mind
with Mike Howery. Heather McClure asks, why is the Bible your only source of truth? And how do you know that some Catholic monks / crazy dictators didn't censor or completely change important parts of it over the centuries? Winking smiley face. Well, first of all, Heather, when comparing the New Testament to all the other books from antiquity, there's no comparison. No other book from the ancient world can even come close to the precision with which the Bible was copied. Now, this makes our modern versions very accurate. Secondly, we have copies that date all the way back to just a few decades after the originals were written. Now, that makes it very difficult for errors, changes, or even fabrications to be put in without people noticing and complaining. In other words, the people who were around when the originals were written were around when the copies were written. And believe me, they would have noticed. Now, this makes those ancient manuscripts very accurate. Third, by the time the Bible was canonized by crazy dictators, I don't think Constantine was actually crazy. And copied by scores of Catholic monks, actually I don't think they were called Catholic yet either. There was a standard that almost every Christian teacher adhered to already. And it was basically what we have in today's form, except in Latin. So they couldn't censor it, or change things, or add things without the Christians noticing and complaining. And you have to remember that while everyone wasn't literate, enough people were that if you made major changes, people in the common community, whether they were Christian or not, would have noticed the changes. It would be impossible to sneak anything through. The leaders of Islam attempted this shortly after the death of Muhammad. It didn't go well. Of course, you wouldn't have to sneak changes through. Rome was an empire. You could force them. Except that Christianity had already spread outside the bounds of the Roman Empire and outside of their political control, so I guess that wouldn't work either. And even if they had, we've got ancient documents that date hundreds of years before that canon was created. And if you look closely, there's really no difference between the two. So even if they fooled everyone in their day, we would still notice the changes in the ancient manuscripts, which are basically exactly the same thing we have today, except in Greek. So the Bible is as it was when it was written 2,000 years ago, except in English. And you can take that to the bank. Now, about the Bible being my only source of truth, the Bible isn't my only source of truth. There's lots of wise people out there that say all kinds of wise things, but the Bible is my measuring rod. I measure all other truths according to it, and if they don't line up, I don't believe them. Now, to wrap it up, I do want to say this. Just because the Bible is an accurate copy of its originals thousands of years ago doesn't make it right. Well, we'll deal with that another time.